No niin, tervetuloa takaisin. Kello on 12, itse asiassa vähän ylikin jo, ja ollaan saatu Jūlija vieraaksi Latvian päästä, yksi meidän hankepartnereista. So welcome Jūlija, welcome to the workshop. You're representing Riga Planning Region, which is one of our project partners, and you're gonna hold us a workshop on communications on smallports and so on. So please, thank you for coming, and the stage is yours.
Thank you. Tere, everybody, this is what I know in Finnish. And yes, so let us start. And yeah, so today we are going to speak about marketing and communication of the small port. I would really love it to be a good cooperation between all of us. So if there is a certain, reflection or you have a comment, please raise a hand. And we're not that many here today, so we are really able to build a very nice dialogue. So that would be really wonderful if we could do it. So my name is Jūlija. I am from Riga, and I am part of a marketing team for CBSmallports project. And today we are going to speak on, first of all, on trends in 2022. Then we will speak a bit about how to build a good connection between a port and a sailor. Of course, we should, when we are speaking about the connection and building up a relationship, we're speaking both about being online and being face-to-face in real life, because this is how we complement each other. And then we'll speak a bit about existing digital tools to reach out and to be visible, to be active, and to reach the goals of what we would like to achieve. So yes, again, I am just a couple of words about myself and what I've been doing previously. And I am communication and marketing expert. And my recent work has been connected to building a network of small ports in Estonia and Latvia. I've been working with brand developing since 2016, and we have started with a number of projects, and we have, started with identifying the ports, then for collecting some information to build the brand. And then we've been very active for doing some international marketing and local activities. And all of you, you're very welcome to check our website, which is East Baltic EU. And we have some useful information about visiting ports in Latvia and Estonia, if once you decide it. Or we will be very happy if you can suggest it to your clients as well. So today, let's talk about marketing, and let's talk about marketing in the small ports. And to begin with, I would like to share a little saying of Simon Sinek, which is who is a marketing specialist and a known guy who calls himself a good optimist. And he said that that actually all of us were people, employees, customers, investors. And if you don't understand people, you don't understand business and you don't understand marketing. Because nowadays we are speaking about marketing from the perspective of a client. And it's not that we want to only to sell things, but we want to know how we can serve a person and how we can do better for him to solve his problems. And if this is something that we keep in mind while we are organizing some of our activities, that is definitely really helping to build a good and long-term relationship between an enterprise and its client. So, I'm sorry, I just tried to find a better place for this. So basically, in marketing, we're speaking about who is our target group. We are speaking about what is our communication, what is our message, what is our design and brand. And we are trying to see how we can spread the message and how we can address our target groups and our audience, which communication channels to use, how we can organize the feedback and the interaction. And all these questions are perfectly going into digital marketing as well. So this is our prime questions to what we are trying to answer in our everyday work. Yeah, in 2022, they've been quite in a shape in digital communication and in digital marketing as well. And of course, now the world is in our pockets. If we compare the information that once upon a time was in the libraries and on the computer, now everything is in your pocket. And that is something to keep in mind and to, to see in your everyday way of thinking that actually people want to be connected like 24/7. And people want to have a possibility to find everything immediately because the world is in your pocket. This is how we are functioning nowadays. And our responsibility in building our brand and in building our communication is, if I don't want to say being available 24/7, then at least giving an illusion to a person that you are available and you are there to help, you are there to answer questions, you are there to suggest, and you are there to, to be there for him. And if we have a look on the media use around the world, then we can see that, everybody is using social media. Everybody's using the phone. These are the data on the world. And of course, there is a difference between, the level of countries. But you and I, we are coming from the countries with a very, very high internet usage, with a very high speed of internet. And we can say that, here in our countries, everybody is using the internet and everybody wants to be online and being present. And if we have a look on the, the way how the search engines are working, then here we see that people are really using both, let's say, Googling and social media. Social networks are becoming a very, very important part of being visual in the internet. And if we see the difference that, for example, the elder people, they are still, let's say, Googling more, then the youngsters are basically half-half. So the way to Google and the way to Google on social media is something that is becoming more and more in proportion and more people doing that on the same time, which for us means that the information available online, let's say on our webpage or in some other references, should be doubled on our social networks, because this is how we are bringing our identity up and this is how we are addressing customers. Our digital habits have changed dramatically in the last couple of years, thanks to the pandemic. In business, we speak about the increase of online sales, let's say, in these 2 years to the side of a decade. So basically, everybody went outside. The rate of sales went up, and now everybody is just, looking for the possibility to be better visual online, and this is really very important. But if we look on a statistic-wise, then let's say nowadays a person spends, you see, on average, kind of like even more than 2.5 hours, mainly like 2.5 hours per day on the internet. And people do use a lot of social media. People do search on social media for everything. And which corresponds to my previous slides, many people nowadays would look on the social media first if they're looking for something. And if we speak about harbors, if we speak about, sailing worlds and sailing community, we know that the sailors and our customers are our first ambassadors, are our first, those who will be telling about visiting of the port, of receiving services, and that's how this word to word goes. So if we ask our clients to post something online, thus we will create a credibility, thus this information will be spread more, and that will be most trustworthy. So this is one of the takeaway of this, change in digital habits. So we need to be able to show our real customers on our real life and being them online. One of the changes that was after the quarantine was that people have started to use more videos than before. And number of watched videos have increased by 80%. The live streaming, which was not that popular a couple of years ago, after the quarantine, has increased as well. And now everybody's live streaming. And live streaming can be different. It can be like what we are doing now, a kind of an organized event, seminar, webinar, but as well as short live streaming from the boat, from the port, just among friends. That is something that is here to stay for sure. And people are getting used to watch the short videos and they like it. And this is how business is now responding to this, change into media usage. So this is another takeaway for us. We should be ready to present videos on our communication channels. Another interesting impact of the pandemic was that before, all digital, marketing advisors would be telling you the best times when to post on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on other channels. And that was usually related to the work habits of people. That, let's say, Monday morning, people come after the weekend, they have their coffee at 9 in the office and they check on what's up on Facebook, what's happened during the, the weekend or whatever. So now this has changed because many people are working from home now. The work schedule has become a bit more spread during the day. We're more related to our natural habits, like having breakfast, having lunch. And if we were in the office, so most probably you would grab your lunch together with one of your colleagues, which is not the case nowadays. So now you would, have your lunch with your phone, and then of course you would check what's new on Facebook and Instagram. But marketing gurus are still, giving some advices on when to post. And for Instagram, the best posting time is about 11 o'clock in the morning. For Facebook, that's like 10, 11 o'clock, which is still related to this, coffee break time and being, finding yourself a kind of relaxed holiday mode, a relaxed daybreak mode. When we speak about our clients and we speak about, let's say, sailors, so we should understand that this posting and finding the best time for posting is as well relevant to us. Maybe we're not addressing people exactly that, we say that our clients are those who are, business people, they are of this age, blah, blah, because we know that sailors can be, of all kind of, profiles. But what is important to take away from this posting and choosing the best time to post is that indeed, if your post is related to some kind of a leisure activity, it should be posted on time when person starts to think about leisure activity. So let's say afternoon. And if you post on Friday late evening, then most probably it will disappear, during the night and during the all kind of activities. But if you choose to post, let's say on Saturday morning, then it is likely possible that that time would be, the best for those who are thinking about what to do today, if our client is the one who is to decide in the last moment. So if it is an event that we like to promote, most probably this event requires a kind of preparation and requires, taking some previous connections or, callings or reservations, etc. Then we should really think about it, how to post our message, not to get lost in the, oceans of our other messages that are appearing on the Facebook or Instagram timeline. What I find really interesting is that the impact of pandemic that has changed the content of the posts and what people would like to see online. Since we've been all, closed at home, and for 2 years, some of us were really bored, and people were a bit stressed about with all this kind of, uncertainty and all the things that we have been through in these years. People have understood that they don't want their social media account to bring them more uncertainty and more, difficult information. So basically, they want to cheer up. And people have understood as well that, advertisement and all kind of publicity is not something that they want, to see in their private profiles. So people want real content, and they want this content to be pleasant, playful, easy, something that would bring your mood up. And I think that this is a really good advice that we can all take away for, marketing our marinas and our boating life. Because if we show the pleasant atmosphere of the port, if we show the content faces that are, enjoying their life, this is something that people, first of all, they like to see it. Second, this is what is going on in the marinas. So it's a perfect match of what can be, presented and what is there for people to watch and to build, their impression. Because this is why we are posting. We want to build impression about our place. And this is just a very important information to keep in mind. Placing advertisements and all kind of promotions was always a big part in digital business and in digital marketing. And the quarantine situation have sped up the importance of influencers. And here I would like as well to emphasize that if the bigger companies are, they're able now to bring a lot of influencers to help their marketing strategies, then for us, people who work in smaller marinas, who are working in small ports, who are working in, tourism sphere, the power of mini influencers is really something to consider. What we understand with the mini influencers, of course, there are, people with, few thousand people of, followers, etc. But with a mini influencer, we understand somebody who maybe has just, let's say, 2,000-3,000 of followers on the profile, but they are very relative to what you are doing. They're relevant to that. They know the sphere. They're interested. Sailors, boaters, just hikers maybe who, if you are running a cafe in the marina, in the natural park, you have a lot of hikers. So ask that hiker to, to make a little video about what he have seen in your marina. Ask him to share his experience. And that can be done with, he's not a big influencer, so he cannot ask you for a couple of €1,000 for that. Maybe you give him a lunch, maybe you give him an oversleep. There are different ways how you can establish this cooperation. But since his profile is very relevant to what you are doing, this is something to be done, and this is something to be done easily. And this is something that we should not underestimate in planning our digital presence and in building our brand, in building our identity. And this is, again, one of the things that quarantine has, given and brought us this opportunity to build with the smaller steps, but the bigger audience and the bigger presence online. What are the new changes that was brought to us by the pandemic? So we've been speaking more videos on social media, the content more positive, uplifting, inspiring. At the same time, now people have started to understand that they're spending too much time on social media. So they are making a certain effort on spending time less, but they want more authentic, real content. So the number of hours we are spending online is still very important. But within those numbers, we don't want to consume just everything that is online. We want to look for something more informative, more authentic, something that would, really contribute to make our everyday life better and more cheerful. And this is one of the biggest takeaway of these changes into social media, work after the pandemic. Yeah, that we want to consume authentic content. We want to know the real testimonials. We don't want any more, beautiful Instagram pictures that was there, always, you see that it's artificial. No, people want to use social media as a testimonials, as a real experience, as looking for advice. And they want to do it in a easy time, easy way, just by clicking, but trusting what they are seeing. And this is very important. We all spend a lot of time online, but at the same time, we have now, really build up this eager of meeting in presence, face to face, and we really want our community back. And here is a very tricky things of how to compromise. Because from one hand, we are still spending a lot of time online. On the other hand, we want this personal feeling. So the importance of the community has been transferred from offline to online, and they have created a perfect, match. So now your offline community is online, and you are combining your experience and your feeling of belonging to the community between this offline and online. And this is another takeaway for us, for who having a local community on board is extremely important. So it means that whenever we have, let's say, an event online, it should be somehow, at least the information about it should be available offline and vice versa. If we do something in presence, we have a great time, we have a great evening, we have a great event, that should be online as well. And thus we create, again, community, trustworthy information, and feedback and interaction with our community, which is very, very important for building our brand, or for building our presence, and on building this trustworthy experience. Yes, a port and a sailor. When I have started to work with the subject in 2016, so a couple of years back, I was so much sure that all the ports are just perfect interactors with their sailors. And it was a great surprise for me to learn that actually it's not. And of course, sailors are coming and they're using the services, but somehow ports are considering that, sailors will be always there. And that this is, just a part of ports infrastructure. While at the same time, this connection and building a long-term relationship between the port and the sailor is something that is really important, and it should be guided from the port's perspective. Because this is the way how we build, first of all, our clients, future clients, potential clients, and we make sure that our clients will bring more clients to our port. Thus, we will be growing and, flourishing. So the easiest way of how to understand who is our client is to observe, take notes. Nowadays, there are a lot of tools. If you are using, for example, some online information, system, you can add a little clicks for your hub master to click, so you understand that, for example, that was a family, what is the average age of people visiting, what were their interests, are they just local clients who are here for the whole summer because they're living around, or are they travelers, where are they traveling, what are their needs, what were the questions they've been asking. Because it seems like we know this information. But when, for example, we have asked our ports to provide us some statistics, we have found out that, statistics, it's all about collecting the money. But to develop the port and to develop the services, you really need to understand what are the needs of your clients, and your clients are sailors, and not only sailors. If, for example, you are running a restaurant or a great cafe, and you are addressing a local community to come to spend time in your environment because it's a beautiful environment, and any marina is a really tourism attractor, it's really something that creates the local atmosphere. So if you are start to take a little notes on these needs, you would be surprised on how much more information you could get by the end of the season. And then if, for example, you have your budget planning and you think of what you could improve on your services or how you could improve, you would see that a lot of improvements can be done only with a smaller steps. There is some problem with the presentation, right? Here. Can you see it now?
Yeah, it's okay now. Yeah.
It's okay now. Yeah. So, because what is a very important thing to understand is that there have been a certain shift in marketing. And if, let's say, 20 years ago or 10 years ago, we could, see the best salesman who would say that he can sell ice to penguin, then nowadays, no, I mean, it's a really not a good idea. We don't want to sell ice to penguin. We rather try to see how we can make the life of a client better. And that is something that, we are building in long term. And understanding the needs will really help you to provide smaller steps, sometimes, even with a smaller budget. Like, for example, in one port, I know that when you make a reservation for senior citizen, they are trying to give them a space which is closer to the service house. Yeah. And this is something which costs you nothing. It's only a matter of attention, and it's only a matter of knowing your client and the needs of your client. And this is something as well that can give us, a new subject for posting something on social media, because we know that posting and creating content is as well something of a challenge. But if we have a look on what are the questions that our visitors are asking, and we take a little note, from that we can create a content which would be really authentic, really related to your particular place, and thus you will build a better brand. It will be more recognizable. It will give a certain, understanding of the values that you are having, and it will definitely help people to understand that this is a place where they want to be, where they want to go, and where they want to return. And this is why we are doing all kind of, communication and marketing. So these are a very simple tips, which doesn't take, big budgets. And if once you will decide to spend a budget on your, marketing, then the person who will be developing a marketing strategy for you will be so happy if you could provide him some of this information. And that would be just really a great, great contribution to building your brand and to building your digital presence as well. So, relationship that we are trying to build in the port is not only with the sailors or with the visitors, that's as well with the other ports as well. Because it is very important for ports, to understand that there is always a next port. Even if, for example, your client is the one who is for who you are a home port, he will be visiting other ports. If you are just a port on the way, there is, a next port, there is somewhere a destination, or you can be the destination. So if you know your neighbors, if you know the other ports in the area, you can establish this kind of, experience of a network. And when you present yourself to a sailor as a part of a network, that as well gives a certain trust into your, identity. It would attract more foreign countries, foreign visitors. It would attract a certain, other kind of public. And that's important. And that's cost you nothing. It's only that you are thinking about it. You are trying to know your neighbors. You are trying to understand what are the services. And in tourism, we are speaking about cooperation and, a certain balance between competitiveness and cooperation. Because, for example, if your port has a great restaurant, but your neighboring port has a better technical services, but they don't have a restaurant. And if you make a certain friendship between, the staff of the ports, then you can advise people where to have a dinner and where to have some repairment works. And that is something that is creating, again, this environment. And in the end, everybody is a winner because everybody will receive a certain client. And for the area, it as well will bring a certain, benefits because people will be going there because they know they will not be left alone. And as we know, in sailing and in water traveling, the safety issue is really important and people are thinking about it a lot. This is just a little example of what we are doing in Riga on how building this local sailing community. So interacting with our local sailing community. So we are, participating in the regattas. We are giving some souvenirs. We are always trying to, be part and be there during the competition or with just some bigger events. And this really pays off because sailors are our best ambassadors. And the spread of the word in the sailing world is just amazing and incredible. Yes, but if we speak about marketing, of course, we are speaking about building your brand and your identity. And our main target when we are speaking about this building the brand and identity is that we are trying to distinguish us from others. And again, this is something which goes well, and at the same time, it doesn't go at all with what that we've been speaking before about this networking and, being part of the network of with the other ports. But building your own brand identity and developing the understanding of what is your port different, what it can give, how it is, contributing to the local community is something that in the end will really pay off. Because if person is, let's say, 20 miles away from the shore and he needs to take a decision about where to go, left or right, most probably he will be, of course, looking on the wind, on the weather conditions, but at the same time, in mind, there already is a picture about what to expect. And the more clear this picture is, the more it is authentic, the more there is a certain safety guarantee, the better it is. The more chances it is in such a circumstances, the person will choose your port. So if we are speaking about building this identity, so we should develop a kind of a messages of how we are present in social media, what we are different, what do we offer, how we, stand out. At the same time, all these messages should be supported by real people. Because if you are just speaking on your behalf, or if you are only, placing information on the web page where people don't really have a possibility, to put likes or, somehow interact, comment, then all this will bring a certain, stiffness to your presentation. And if so, it doesn't create a real trust. So, of course, if you are a home port and you're working basically with your clients that are there, and not attracting too much, clients from the outside, then it might be not a problem because, most probably they will choose you just because you are closer, or just because you have a free parking, or just because, their granddad was keeping the boat there. So there are many, many reasons. But nowadays, all these reasons become maybe not that 100%, because there is always an option of something else. And if with the summer stay, it's clear that, you would like to have your boat next to your house, and you would need a free parking, and you would need, some services that would, help you to be, in a comfortable position. Then, for example, wintering services. Here comes already the questions that the person would be asking. And then trust and recommendations from other people become really of a more importance than just, posting online. Because then the person is really choosing and really looking for some better options. One of the situations in pandemia was that in the cross-border neighboring countries, where, like, for example, in Germany, when there was quite a problem, that some of the boats were, let's say, in Denmark and in in Netherlands. So when the borders were closed, suddenly people understood that having your boat in the other country could be risky at some point. So this is another influence of pandemia that has happened to us. But on the other hand, still this possibility of finding a better services for your boat is again something that we are all searching for. And this is where this, again, your brand, your recommendations, your culture, your thoughts of sustainability and on, long-term development is something that becomes very important. One thing that people are really looking for online is your story. And the story can't just be created from nothing, because people will see that it's, it's artificial, it's not there, nobody supports it. So, but if you really share your personal attitude, your personal, history, your achievements, your everyday, little happy moments that we have, and you share it online with the perspective of the ports. We don't need to see on the port's profile your morning coffee, no. But if that coffee is, served at the cafe with, some overlooking the boats, or, creating an atmosphere of that place, that already becomes something that is part of your story, that helps to build your identity. that helps to raise your image and to stand, above others. And this is why it is important to make a little steps often, because with those little steps, we contribute to the image that we want to create, that we want to, to be there. And we want that image to really, really be, available for people when they want to ask for some either questions, or they have something to share, or they are thinking about where to go to your port or to a neighboring port. Then all those little details will help them to make this decision. And it might sound of a lot of, work, but if you take a little habit on doing it, soon you will notice that the community of your port grows, the interaction between visitors grows, and it really doesn't cost you $1 million to do so, but it will help to build a trustworthy relationship with the client and with a potential client. Maybe there are some reflections online, or not yet? Okay. So we've been speaking about building the brand. We've been speaking about building community and networking. So of course it is important to see the way of how we communicate. And again, this is something that I have repeated today many times, and whenever you open anything that speaks of communication nowadays, there will always be this question that if you don't exist online, do you ever exist? And I know that some ports are living in a certain, how to say, certainty that, they are there, they're providing good services, they have clients, they're booked for summer, there are some tourism objects around, and people will be visiting them like anyway. But is it really so? Because if you are building your business model only with those who are already there, what is the guarantee that tomorrow those people will not choose to use the services of your neighbors? Or there will be an appearance of some other services, and people will think of maybe it's a good way of, changing the habits, because all the habits are changing sometimes. So this communication, and in your, everyday communication on building your activities, it should be regular, first of all, because this is how we are checking, for example, if we are going somewhere, that the place that we don't know, we want to make sure that that place is, a kind of safe. There are people, there are services, there are some guarantees of, what's there and how it works. And especially on social media, it is always a very good tone to interact. And if you receive a question, you answer. If you receive comments, you answer. You try to solve the problem, because this interaction will actually give out this another message that you care. And in voting, this safety feeling is really very important. And if we do care for our clients, so it means that I can leave my boat, I can make sure that the harbor master will take care of it, I can be sure that the technical service will be on a standing, So this interaction and spreading the messages via our clients who are our ambassadors, that is something that is really important in communication. Of course, the message should be very clear and short and without circumstances. So our marina is offering this and this. We are thinking of energy efficiency. We are thinking of sustainability. We are ready to we are looking for some solutions of how to be more nature responsible, on how to implement things. So our messages, the more they are, shorter, the more clear they are, the better they are communicated. And it gives the possibility for people to ask questions more directly. It gives the possibility to build these brands long term, because it's clear what you are there for. And at the same time, if you are sending a message like, I am the best port in the area, like, okay, that's what you think, but whether it is really so, what is the best port? I mean, the message is unclear. And if you are not only, if your target is not to provoke questions, then it's better to, to send out the messages that are clear, short, and understandable. Whenever we do some, let's say, we are posting some big information, that just a weather news on in our territory, it's always good to include a bottom of call to action. Because remember, a person who is, checking online, or who is, simply looking for something, he always is distracted with millions of other things. The incoming alarms, emails, pretty cats on Facebook, or I don't know, funny dogs. There is a lot of distraction around. So if you are speaking about that, you have a possibility to, to book a room. There should be a way to book a room now, quickly, with one press. And if you include these kind of, call to action bottoms, for example, on your web page, or you interlink your web page with some of the reservation systems, it's only better for your, for a possibility for you to catch the client and to not to let him be distracted and to run away from your web page. So very important thing to keep in mind whenever you are doing something. Or for example, if you are making an announcement about a regatta that's taking place, in the end, there always should be a link on how to register it. Simple things, but sometimes we need to spend time on, on searching for this kind of, call to action. And people are always very busy. They have just a couple of seconds to whatever. And if you don't catch their attention, if you don't direct him, the person, to what you want, to what is your, to the proper page, there is a very big risk that the client will be gone. Positive vibes, entertainment, cheering up. This is, very much related to what we've been speaking almost an hour ago already about that, all of us, we want to, to be positive. We want to, our, online communicate, our online world should be better than our offline world. And the way you publish, the way you build your communication, if it is positive, if it is with a certain humor, if it is bringing, the positive vibes, you are definitely a winner. because every single, picture can bring you a better mood, can bring you a better atmosphere. It can create a, something, an environment that you would like to, immerse yourself in. And this is what we want. We want to bring people in on board and coming to our port. If we're speaking about a kind of a etiquette online, or if we are speaking about, just being solid and, creating this trust, then I would warmly recommend not to put a kind of a copy-paste information. Just put a link. It's okay, like a link to registrate, a link to your neighboring port, a link to a restaurant menu, because those links usually are working very well. And at the same time, remember that the more information you have on your page, the heavier it becomes. And, maybe it can, make a little pause or download slowly. So using links is okay. Of course, you should be wise and think about that, person would not wish to spend, more than, I don't know, half a minute online on your page if he are not finding the information he needs. So there should be links with, let's say, call to action buttons, but the information that the person is looking for should be available there immediately. As soon as the person has landed on your page, he should find what he needs. And if he has found what he needs, then he can continue searching and looking and because his first concerns have been met and it built a certain trust already. So now he's more calm and he's ready to discover more. Of course, beautiful pictures, telling pictures, a picture that tells a story, a picture that, represents you, represents your brand. All that should be online. I was on my way to say the more the better. Not always. It should send out the message. It should contribute to your brand, but it should not distract. And for example, when we post on Facebook pictures from the events, if you post 67 pictures, I'm not sure if people will want to see it. Maybe those who want to find themselves on the pictures, they will be ready to, to go through. But if it is a kind of a sets of pictures that contributes to your brand, then up to 10 is a kind of a maximum that should be, posted online. So just consider that your picture should be with the message, contributing to your brand, and should be enough. No need to, to post all your library online, because that distracts and it makes your web page heavier. So always think about what you are posting and why to do it. Yeah, web pages are different, and we all want our page to be, fancy, modern, interactive, great place to see and to find a lot of information. But remember, we are working with the sailors, and the sailors want to know the depths. They want to know about the available services. They need to know how to contact the harbor master and, in case of emergency, what to do. If your port is bigger, then they want to understand where they should go on the moment when they have, arrived, or how they should go and where to find the harbor master, for example, where to register it, where is the service building when they can wash the clothes or, or find cafes, and what is the tourism offer on the place or around. So if this information on your webpage cannot be found by person within 30 seconds, there is a high risk that the person will Google again for something that he needs to find. And now it's up to you to think, what is it? Where does the client would go to your neighboring port? Or there are another channels which would help them to find the necessary information. But our advice that we always give to the ports, from this professional marketing perspective, is that this is the main information that the sailors are looking on the web, and it should be there. If you have a proper map, if you have just a drawing, there are schemes, all kind of, things are good and they can be designed according to your web. But this information is really very, very important. And the quicker the sailor finds it, the more trust he has in your port and in the information that is, online. And of course, all the contacts should be updated. We don't want this case when the person is trying to call the harbor master and the phone is wrong, or there is some, for international visitors, all these country codes is always a problem, because sometimes you need to add zero, sometimes there is a brackets, like what that, I mean, you always should think about the client, local client, international client. They might not search for the same information, but the better your information is structured, the easier, the better it is for you and for your visitors. And if we speak about these differences of the information on social media and on the homepage, then I would say that nowadays social media should have the same information of this main information available on the social media. If you go to the head cover of the Facebook and you see the depths, the services, the contacts, wow, amazing. This is what all the sailors want to know. Because this is the primary question of, whether my boat is good for that place. I mean, can I go there, or I should look for the other ones? And if we provide it clearly, easy to find, this is just excellent. This is what we all are, there to suggest and to keep in mind. What we are posting and how we are posting. Here again, all the information should be always considered from this client perspective. So for whom we are posting, what we are posting, how, what are the information channels, what are the communication channels? Are we using only our social media and our webpage, or are there a kind of a platform that can be, can be as well hold some information about our port? All these things are contributing to a better environment for a person to think about what he can find. Yeah. And always remember this, that the viewers is very impatient. So couple of seconds and there is a next Googling. Yeah. And again, clear message, very targeted, excellent. That will just, contribute to the best communication. Often in digital marketing, we speak about, making your social profile better, developing your social profile, on how to have better attendance. And here is a very simple tips are that, your description about your portal, your organization, your cafe, whatever, should be simple, short, keywords. There should be contacts. The pictures that you are using, they should represent the natural environment. It doesn't mean that your picture should be taken, with the old Nokia, whatever. No, your picture should be beautiful, but they should not be artificial. Because sometimes we all like to see, beautiful photos from the oceans or from archipelago, whatever. But we understand that this is a kind of inspirational photos, but we want to see as well the photos of real life. Because when I'm making a choice of whether to go to the A or to the B port, I am considering the real circumstances there. And if, for example, you have a picture of, let's say, sauna, which seems like, a great place. But when I arrive and I find that, first of all, it's a very small sauna, second, it's closed, third, I don't know, it's not working, and fifth, you want me to pay 50 euros per hour for going to sauna, there will be disappointments. And especially with the disappointments, people tend to post this kind of negative disappointment much more often. So imagine that you have a fancy picture of your sauna and you have 2 likes and you have 22 disappointments under that. I mean, that would be really a disaster. So there should be a certain balance between atmosphere building, atmosphere pictures, atmosphere environment, inspiring, bringing local tourism on board, establishing connection with the local tourism center, and having a real natural, pictures that would really show what is there, what to expect. And be careful about bringing this, natural pictures being really to what it corresponds to the reality. We've been speaking already that the content you are using and you are posting, it is something that should be unique. It should be different from others. It should really be descriptive to what is you. What is your port? Which are the services available there? What is the way that people are coming and spending time in the port? Are there, regattas? Are there some sailing club meeting? All this information is something that will contribute to build your profile. First of all, to build the community. Second, create this trustworthy, communication. And it definitely will support your branding. And always remember that the real goal of marketing is to start conversation and to build a relationship and to build a long-term relationship and to build the relationship both online and offline, to create a mixture of those, to contribute and to really be helpful both for clients, at the same time, giving us a possibility for business development, for being more, there for longer, building new, more sustainable policies, and to create a better atmosphere. And thinking of little steps, but thinking about that regularly would really, really, really contribute to making that. So, tell your story, post regularly, follow, comment, post pictures, real pictures, inspiring questions, pictures. Ask your clients to post, to do check-ins, share your values, and ask how you can help. This is something that is really a simple question, but somehow businesses are a bit hesitating in asking that, because there could be a certain fear of what would be the answer. Yeah, like whatever, people are different. But at the same time, people are different. So to some of those asking for help, you can really solve it with no budget. You can really solve it just by giving an advice. You can solve it, and thus that person will leave a good reference, will do some good picture for your own online profile, and everybody is a winner. And this is how we build our friendship and long-term relationship. And yeah, coming to an end on this presentation, I would like just to, to keep in touch with you with our projects. And soon we are planning to launch a web-based platform about small ports of the regions. So please send us your information. Please have a look on what is online, what is missing. You should, try to be a bit active in using these tools. Soon we will develop and print and bring to you image maps, which is a printed materials of the sailing area in the Central Baltic. You are welcome to share those. And we are now within the project working for the brochure of sailing routes in the area. And that would be 10 routes, giving of examples of visiting places, of how to, giving inspiration to people on how to build their sailing holidays. So we will be sharing that as well. And I hope that you will find, possibility to share that within your communities. Yep. At the moment, I say thank you. This is my email address, and all of you are very welcome to get in contact. And if there is something that we can help as a project or as a marketing advice, or I don't know, whatever, we are there, and we really would like to continue our cooperation.
Thank you, Jūlija. It was extremely interesting presentation.
Thank you.
I think there was at least a couple of questions from Teemu. Teemu, do you want to share those thoughts to everyone?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I was just thinking also the same. It was really interesting. Really like, I don't know, lots of new things for me, as I'm not an expert in this field. And just some, let's say, I was thinking like kind of even more practical, that if I would be a port owner, that which channels, some social media channels, I would really should concentrate. Maybe, time is limited, and that how often you said the regular updates. How often is regular update of the content, and how much work would I need to invest in that? Should I like I don't know, hire a separate person for it? Can I do it myself? Yeah, kind of thinking really practical here.
Yeah, very very practical, and my very practical answer is that a kind of a minimum program is of course a Facebook. Yes, so should be present in Facebook, because this is something that people trust. This is something that, especially in tourism, people would be really, looking for, some real pictures and some other people's experience, and they trust that people are posting the real thing. So you definitely should have a profile on Facebook. Now, in tourism, Instagram is really very important. But I would say that between choosing of being present on Instagram as well and posting on Instagram the same stuff that you're posting on Facebook might not be the best way. I mean, somebody does it, and of course it's not a crime, you know, internet can consume everything, but this is really a kind of a wasting your time, because Instagram is requiring a bit more, let's say, professional pictures, a bit more storytelling ways. It's a bit different. But Facebook is okay for any kind of communication. Yeah. And it's, you know, it is more forgiving if, for example, you are putting a kind of grammatical mistake that, for example, would be really unacceptable on your web page, yeah, because this is your face, yeah. So in Facebook, it's okay, you know, it's just a Facebook post. But if you are doing it yourself, it's still okay, you know. The phone pictures are okay. It's more important that you are there with a kind of a regularity. And the question of regularity is, of course, we are, you know, a seasoning business. Yeah, so there is a season and there is off the season. So if you find some information during this off season, like for example, your services are still available, or you have finished a boat reparation, yeah, or there is a new color available within your technical services, yeah, all those little things contribute to the, you know, giving impression that you are alive. Yeah, and this is something which is very important. And for example, if we don't want to spend, you know, thousands on digital marketing, we just make a web page, which is okay. It contains, you know, the most of the information, but on everyday basis, we work on Facebook, because this is how we can do it, you know, ourselves without involving a real, you know, big team behind it.
Okay, thank you. I got the idea at least. There's some question. Anna there. Go ahead.
Yes, hello. Hello to everybody. I'm Anna Binek, Harbour Master of Kotka Yachtstore Marina. We are a deep water marina in Kotka and a full service winter storage. Jūlija, thank you very much for the extremely interesting presentation. And as a marketing specialist, I agree with everything which has been said above. I came to the marina a year ago, and we appeared in both Instagram and Facebook last year. So I would like just to to share our experience. So I personally believe in both Instagram and Facebook, and yeah, this is a very useful tool, and I would like to tell that it is very good to give the possibility for the boaters at least to tag, to check in. So believe me, they do that. So they would like,
Exactly.
yes, they would like to tag the location, to share, and yeah, when you have the account, they have the possibility to do that. So what else? You mentioned that call to action is very important, and I agree with that, especially the button online booking. So this is important. When you have Instagram, you can have an active link in bio, like tap link with a straight link to, in Finland, we have Satamapaikka, most popular online booking reservation system. What else? You also mentioned depth. Yes, depth is very important, and one more important thing is safe approach. And a very good example is what XAMK did for 30 miles project. So these are videos of safe approaches to the marinas. They can be easily found on YouTube, and I think this is very important, because not all the boaters are very skilled ones, and it might help. And if you post pictures, also it's very good to pay attention to aerial pictures, so pictures from above, because they give more information for boaters. So yeah, I found this important. And I will put links to our chat, so you can have a look how our 2 Instagram accounts look like. Maybe I would be happy if you can share your comments on that. And what we did, we used professional pictures. But if you don't have the possibility, or you don't have a professional photographer in your team, no worries. On Instagram, you can have at least a sort of 5, 6, 10 pictures, basics, and actually that's it. And the most important thing is to have an active link in bio. Tap link. This is a good service. It might be even free of charge. And there is a straight link to Satamapaikka or any other online reservation system. And also, Jūlija, I found this project you presented very useful. And I looked through, and I couldn't find the straight link to online reservation, just links to marinas websites. And also I couldn't easily find the button online reservation on marinas websites. So
you mean for the East Baltic coast, yeah?
Yes, exactly. So
yeah,
my question is, what is the situation with online reservation? Do you have
that's the thing, that unfortunately we don't, especially in Latvia, it's not a popular service at all. And in that regard, your marinas are much more, they're much more step forwards with this online reservation, because in our marinas it's really not popular. I don't even have another words. There are some functioning reservation systems, but they've been capturing like 1-2 reservations per season, and of course it's not profitable for nobody, and so it's a step behind. We are there, And this East Baltic coast website, that is something that we make more as a destination, and that's why we have more relation to just transfer to giving this information on approaches, on depths, maps, but then we forward them to the ports, because we don't have the capacity to handling all the information for all of the ports. If in Latvia there are not that many ports, then in Estonia there is quite a number of ports, and we're just forwarding the customer. We are doing kind of destination marketing more. So
all right. Thank you.
And thank you very much for your contribution on the pictures. Indeed, these drone pictures from above, giving the overview, they're really very important. And I fully agree that you don't need to have hundreds of professional pictures on site. That's really not necessary. And if you are building this kind of asking people to post and asking people to check in, then people actually, they love to post themselves. And then it becomes, without even your deep involvement into that, your profile becomes very interactive, and plenty of pictures are simply coming there from people, and that's very good.
All right, good. Thank you. And also one more important thing is that people are watching videos, and especially reels. And my question is, do you know examples of marinas who are using both reels and maybe even TikTok on a daily basis?
Oh, that's a good. No, I wouldn't call by heart. In Latvia, definitely not. It may be more related to boaters themselves. For example, I know that we have some sailing teams that are, not really TikToking, but they are doing some live streaming during the season. Like it's very popular in Riga because we have quite a, how to say, from the center of Riga to the entrance gates, there is like an hour and a half that you can sail. And then, those sunset live streams, they're quite popular during the summer that boaters would be doing themselves. But ports, no, I don't have an example. But that is a good idea, and I really think that that's if we won't do it this season, like 2022, then for sure in 2023 that would definitely take on more and more on board of these live streams and TikToking.
All right, thank you. And one more question, or maybe an offer to the colleagues. I think it would be very nice if we have here in Finland the same as our colleagues from Estonia and Latvia have the same project like the Eastern Gulf of Finland marinas with all the routes and useful links. Yeah, and yeah. So if we can approach to this, that would be really useful. I mean, for the sailing in general in Finland. Yes, thank you, Jūlija, and I will be in touch with you.
Thank you very much.
You.
Looking forward. Wonderful.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Jūlija. Just one thought about the situation in Finland. Do you, Jūlija, have good examples from the Finnish small ports who have done the marketing well? Any ideas about those, or any thoughts about good examples? At least Kotka yachts.
I can only refer to what Anna said. Yeah, and that it is really these approach videos are really very important, and those are quite many on the ports. And this is a really example of the information, that is needed and that is provided and that is really helping and assistant. Within our project of this East Baltic coast, we have been visiting and participating in many international fairs. And we have, always received these kind of questions about how it is approached, what is this, what is that. So it is really very important that there is somehow in one place this one information gathered, and that's yeah. I think maybe Teemu, it's a good idea. You see, it's a good idea that we will try to put this in our upcoming platform that we will be developing within the CBSmallports project, and let's say that will be a first step of where to collect all this information in one place, and hopefully that will be really used by the sailors and the ports.
Exactly. Thanks, Jūlija. Any other comments still? Any thoughts? Well, if I would be dealing with the port marketing after this presentation, I would give a few thoughts at least for our brand building and so on. It was excellent information. Thank you, Jūlija.
Thank you very much. Of course, the presentation, I will send it to Jussi, and probably we can send it afterwards to
we're gonna share all the content which we have today seen, and also the recording for the whole workshop. So it's coming to you later on. So I want to thank all of you for participating this workshop. It was a great day, I think.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting, and let's keep in touch.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for my half also to all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.